Well, hello, America. So what is the average American talking about today? Well, we got the cast of Glee. They've broken records. They have more number one hits, more than Elvis Presley. That's good. The Kardashians are now making $65 million a year. That's a pretty big one. And can you believe the Westminster Dog Show? That cute little poodle, wasn't he? Yeah. Of course, the world is on fire, and there are three groups of people. They want a new world order. One, this is your choice. One world government. This is open society. This is the United Nations, whatever you want to call it. One world government. They have lots of money, lots of power, and they have NGOs, non-governmental organizations. They're getting that one done. They're organized. This is the caliphate if you're in Iran or Turkey. This one is the United Islamic Nations. This is the one the Muslim Brotherhood is going for now. But it all look like this. It's a new world order. And they're organized too. They have the religion and the mosques and apparently help from Google as well, at least in Europe, in Egypt. And then you have this one, Workers' Union, or they call it state capitalism. Really what it is just good old-fashioned communism. They have the unions and community organizing. Now there's one point of view missing from this board. I think that would be the order where we're all free and it's not this, or this. But they're organized. They're moving forward. As George Soros told me, there is already, the ship has sailed and it is moving on. Really, has it? Well, these three are sailing. Tonight we're going to focus on this one, the 12th Imam. Look out. Jimmy Carter tells us also there is no need to worry at all about the Muslim Brotherhood.
I've known members of the Muslim Brotherhood. They have ties to Hezbollah in Lebanon and also to Hamas, whose headquarters are in Syria. I think that the Muslim Brotherhood are not anything to be afraid of. They will be subsumed in the overwhelming demonstration of desire for freedom and true democracy, and I would say a secular or non-religious government that we saw in the demonstrations in the last 3 weeks. And so there'll be one of many parties to run, and I don't think there's any likelihood at all of them prevailing and establishing Sharia or Islamic law that would prevent the demonstrators' desire for peace and freedom to be realized.
Can I tell you something? America, there's not enough Jack Daniels on planet Earth for me to drink to have him make sense. There's just not. I couldn't get drunk enough to go, you know what? That guy makes perfect sense. There's just not enough. There's not. PolitiFact says that my statement about the Muslim Brotherhood wanting to go to war with Israel is false, despite the fact that we showed you the words of Youssef al-Qaradawi. Love that guy. He's rated the 9th most influential Muslim on earth with an audience of 60 million people a week. And Der Spiegel refers to him as the voice of Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood. Quote, he hates Israel and would love to take up arms himself. In one of his sermons, he asked God to kill all the Jewish Zionists, every last one of them. I love the tape that we played for you several times of the voice of the Muslim Brotherhood who says he'd like to kill the Jews from his wheelchair. Oh, Allah, help me do it. Yeah, but don't worry, there's no anti-Semitism happening there. In Iran, while all of this is going on, there is a caliphate conference we told you about last night called the International Islamic Unity Conference. Today in Iran, they are taking credit for the uprising in Egypt. Here it is. But it is so obvious that religious motives were behind these movements, and the uprising were inspired by the Islamic Revolution of Iran. The popular uprisings in Egypt and Tunisia started from mosques. Motivation. That is vital to understand when you're dealing with people who thrive on chaos or want a new world order. What's their motivation? Well, that's what we're going to focus on tonight. We're going to focus on another log on the fire of chaos. It is the 12th Imam. The 12th Imam. Most people don't know who the 12th Imam is. If you watched the program yesterday, we told you a little bit about the concept of the 12th Imam. Specifically, we're talking about fringe beliefs held by a small fraction of Islam. In this case, these guys. This is the president of Iran, Ahmadinejad, and this is the Ayatollah Khomeini. President Ahmadinejad is kind of a spooky dude. I've been watching this guy for about 6 years. And what brought him to my attention was his talk of the 12th Imam. I want to give you to what honestly will amount to a Twitter-linked history of Islam in 1400 years. 1400 years ago, the Sunnis and the Shias. This is Sunni, this is Egypt, this is the Muslim Brotherhood, and this is Shia, this is Iran. These are the two extremes of Sunni and Shia. The Shias believed that only direct descendants of Muhammad should rise and lead the world's faithful. The Sunnis believed that any worthy man could lead. Well, over time, the Sunnis have become the majority of the world's Muslims. President Ahmadinejad, however, is a Shiite. But he's not your normal Shiite. Neither of these guys are. They are an extreme version called a Twelver. For many years, I was told that no, they don't belong in that. They're not Twelvers. I said, listen to their language. No. The stories of the first 11 imams are generally just historical in nature, but the 12th Imam is more supernatural and mystical, and this is where things go awry. The 11th Imam dies in the year 874. The 12th Imam, who is just a little 7-year-old boy, goes into hiding. They're hunting him. Well, it is believed that he hid himself in a well underneath a mosque, which is blocked by a gate. It is now one of the most sacred sites in Shiite Islam. He was never found. A little boy, the 12th Imam. So, the 12th Imam, they believe, will eventually come back in the last days. How do you know when you're entering the last days? Well, it's, quite honestly, it's almost like how do you know when Jesus is coming back? It's 7 years of nightmare, and it's just growing problems. It's chaos, and it's war. But once that ends, the infidels will have been defeated, and the mullahs will rule over a peaceful Islamic world. Now, a lot of Muslims believe elements of this storyline, but the big thing separating people like President Ahmadinejad and your average Muslim is the idea that Ahmadinejad and the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood believe that they can hasten the return of the 12th Imam or Mahdi. The equation is really pretty simple. For the 12th Imam to return and bring an Islamic paradise, you have to have chaos, lots and lots of bloodshed. So, when Ahmadinejad says, let me help hasten the return of the promised one, that means create chaos. So it will bring on the end times, which brings on the 12th Imam. That's the end game that he's looking for. Now, the story sounds ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous to you. It sounds ridiculous to me. I don't believe it, but it's not whether you or I believe it or not. It's whether the people who are running the biggest state sponsor of terrorism on earth believe it. Whether the people that send warships through the Suez Canal believe it. It's whether the people putting the world on edge with a budding nuclear program believe it. President Ahmadinejad actually ran for, this sounds ridiculous but true, actually ran for mayor of Tehran with a 2-point platform. First plank in his platform, I'm going to improve traffic around the city. Second plank, I'm also going to hasten the return of the promised one as mayor. He then secretly ordered an urban reconstruction to take place to make it easier for the Mahdi to get around town if he were to return. And since becoming president, he has poured an estimated $17 million to renovate the mosque, which houses the well, from where the Mahdi will materialize. He's even trying to build a direct train route from the area of the well to Tehran. I mean, you wouldn't want the 12th Imam to have to change trains. I mean, he's got business to do. chaos. How does this apply to us? Well, we only need to understand that governments like Iran aren't making decisions under the same kind of incentives that we are. America, our allies, what we have left, and honestly many of our enemies over the years still strive for their own version of peace, stability, and prosperity. But Iran's government isn't motivated by those same things. They want chaos. They want panic. They literally pray for the strength to hasten the return of the promised one. They need the meltdown so their extreme vision of the future can finally come to earth. It's easy to dismiss him, but don't. President Ahmadinejad said this week, "The final move has begun. We are in the middle of a global revolution managed by the dear 12th Imam. The Great Awakening is unfolding. One can witness the hand of the Imam in managing it." And then there is this.
Let's support goodness and the majority of people who are good and the embodiment of absolute good, that is the Imam of time. Hasten the arrival of Imam al-Mahdi and grant him good health and victory, and make us his followers and those who attest to his rightfulness. O God, hasten the arrival of Imam al-Mahdi and grant him good health and victory.
He does this all the time. Most people in America don't know the story of the 12th Imam. Most people don't understand its relevance. Tonight, you will. And you can call these people crazy, because I do. I think they're nuts. But do so at your own peril. Last time we discussed the words coming from Islamic extremists, and we blew them off. We were taken off guard by the worst terrorist attack in our history. Are we going to ignore those words again? Or will we take the people who say they want to kill us at their word and pay attention?